Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm taking you through a detailed tutorial of the MyPhonak app. So Phonak has made some substantial improvements to their MyPhonak app over the past several years. Not only have they added new features inside of the app, but they fixed a lot of glitches that they had with the app when they first launched it. Now I have to say it is one of the better hearing aid apps that are out there among all of the major hearing aid manufacturers. This app is compatible with an iPhone as well as an Android phone, and when you look in the Google Play Store, they used to have a really low rating on this app. Now they're all the way up to a 4.4 rating. Now I'm going to be doing this entire tutorial from my Samsung Galaxy S25, but like I said earlier, it is the exact same process with an iPhone. To start, you're going to want to go to your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store and download the MyPhonak app. All you have to do is search for MyPhonak and click the install button. And now that we have the app installed, we need to open the app, and we're going to allow for all of the permissions and notifications. If you want to let them have access to your usage data, they basically use this to improve the app as time goes on, but it is not a requirement for you to do so. We have to go ahead and keep clicking continue through this, and of course if you live in the United States you need to indicate that you do, and you have to read through that FDA information and identify that you have read and understood this information. Okay, so now this gets us to the pairing screen, and once you're on the pairing screen you need to go ahead and take your hearing aids and reboot them. I have a pair of Phonak Audeo, Sphere, and Finio hearing aids here with me, and the easiest way to reboot them is to just place them inside of the charger and take them back out of the charger. You can also power them down by clicking the bottom button for about 5 seconds until you see a red light flashing, and then you click and hold that bottom button again, and that reboots the hearing aid. This puts your hearing aids into a pairing mode for the next several minutes for you to go ahead and pair your devices with the app. Once you've done so, you can click on Pair Device, Let's Get Started, Continue, and again, allow any permission. It is now searching for these hearing aids, and we should see both of the hearing aids popping up here. We have a LELCO Phonak hearing aid and an LERCO Phonak hearing aid. CO is for my initials. I do recommend you have your hearing care professional put your initials in there so you know that you're actually pairing with your Phonak hearing aids. This is especially important if you have other people in your household who also have Phonak devices. The LE designation indicates the low energy connection with the app itself. Once both of them are showing up on the screen, we can go ahead and tap on them, and then it's going to go ahead and ask us if we want to pair with the first one. We're going to click on pair, and it's going to do the same thing with the other hearing aid. There we go, click on pair there as well. We should get check marks for both of these hearing aids. And there we go, all we have to do here is click on continue, and I prefer to let the hearing aid stay connected with the app, meaning every time you close the app, it doesn't shut down from the background, it keeps it open in the background. It makes it a lot quicker when you want to go back into the app and make an adjustment on your devices. Of course, this also drains battery life a lot quicker, so if you want to have it reestablish connection every single time you go back into the app, you can select that to preserve battery life. I, like I said, like to stay connected. And then if you want to activate the Find My Hearing Aid feature, which I do recommend just in case you leave your hearing aids somewhere, you can track where you left them, you want to click on Activate. If you do not want to activate location services from your phone, then you'll click on Skip for this, but I'm going to go ahead and click on Activate, and I'm going to allow this location service while I'm in the app. Okay, now it also has the safety information that pops up. You can either click OK or OK and don't show again if you don't want that screen to constantly pop up inside the app. So there we go. And as you can see here, we are now connected with the app, and we'll come back to that here in a second. What I want to do really quick first is go into the Bluetooth settings of the phone, show you what this connection looks like, and make sure that we have our Phonak hearing aids paired for streaming as well. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and hit my home button here and go over to my regular settings on the phone itself. I'm going to tap on connections, and then I'm going to go to Bluetooth. Now you can see right here at the top of my Bluetooth screen, you can see that I have the LERCO Phonak hearing aid and the LELCO Phonak hearing aid. Both of these hearing aids are essentially paired up inside of the app on a Bluetooth low energy connection, so that's what the LE is designating here. But I still cannot stream audio from my phone into the hearing aids unless I connect up the Bluetooth Classic connection with the main hearing aid. Now, when I was programming these devices, I set up the right hearing aid as the main connection hearing aid for streaming purposes. So I'm going to reboot just that hearing aid so I can then put it back into pairing mode and connect it with the Bluetooth settings of the phone. Now that the hearing aid is rebooting, I'm going to go ahead and hit scan here in the top right-hand corner. You do not have to hit scan with an iPhone. It is constantly scanning. But what we should end up seeing is a right CO Phonak hearing aid popping up here at the bottom once it's found. All right, there we go. Here at the bottom, we have the RCO Phonak hearing aid. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that. It's going to ask me if we want to pair it, and of course we are. And now we can see that we have the RCO Phonak hearing aid all the way up at the top. Right below that, we have the LER and the LEL versions of the pairing. So yes, there should be 3 of these pairings inside of the Bluetooth screen of your phone. This means that you have streaming connection as well as app connection. And again, just to clarify, this is exactly the same way that you would do this on an iPhone. Okay, so now that we're connected for streaming and we're connected to the app, since this is an app tutorial, we're gonna go ahead and go back to the app so I can show you everything that you can do inside of it. All right, so there we go. We are now back inside of the MyPhonak app. So let me just run you through everything that you can do on this app. So first and foremost, along the bottom, you have your menu. You have your home, you have your health, you have your devices, support, and profile tabs. For this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and go back to the home screen to start. This is where your MyPhonak app will typically come up to when you've closed it out and you reopen it. At the very top of the screen, you can see the amount of battery life that we have inside of each of the hearing aids. I've been using these hearing aids for the beginning part of the day, so I'm down to 72% battery life in these hearing aids. Right below that, you can see that we have the hearing aid program section. And right now, we're in the automatic AutoSense OS operating system program that has 6 subset programs inside of it. I'm using a Phonak Audiosphere 90 level device that has all of the automatic programs available. When you go down in these tiers, it's going to take those features away. Nevertheless, inside of the app, if we hit the drop down here, we can see all of the other programs that we have inside of these hearing aids currently. Now, not only do we have the automatic program that I set up when I was programming these hearing aids, but I also have a manual spheric speech and loud noise program. That is the artificial intelligence program for hearing better in background noise. And right below that, I did link a speech and car program. And again, both of these programs are technically inside of the automatic program as well, and it could toggle into those programs. You won't see it here, I'll explain that later. But I also wanted to have manual access to these programs so I didn't have to always rely on automatic to switch into these programs for me. And if I wanted to switch into any of these programs, all I would have to do is tap on whichever program that I prefer. This one here is showing spheric speech and loud noise. If I do that drop down again and like, you know what, I'm about to go get in the car and drive home, I would click on speech and car. And then if I wanted to go back, of course, to automatic and have it do all of this stuff for me, I would just click on automatic. Now, it's important to understand that inside of the app, here at the very bottom of these program options, you have restaurant, music, and TV. Those are preset programs that the app has in there for you. They are technically derived from program settings that you have inside of the automatic program. The only difference is I don't have any way to control those. If you select those programs, you are basically selecting the defaults that were inside of automatic, and I can't go and customize those programs further for you. I have a lot of patients who do not like having these programs in there, so we can go ahead and delete those if you want to, and I'll actually show you how to do that in this tutorial in a little bit. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and draw your attention down to the adjust button here in the bottom right-hand corner of this screen. If I hit that adjust button, it takes me into a customization screen for whatever program that you were selected on in that dropdown. Now I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on the automatic program functionality here. So that automatic program, like I said, it can shift you between 6 different programs depending on the technology level of Phonak hearing aid that you have. And what it's doing is it's constantly surveying your environment to determine which subset program it would put you in. Maybe it would put you in a speech and noise program, a spheric speech and loud noise program, speech and car program, comfort and noise program, what have you, and it would do it all behind the scenes. But how you can see what program it's selecting into is right here. So right at the top of the screen, you can see adjust calm situation automatic. That's telling you that here in my studio space, it's relatively calm and quiet. So that's the program that AutoSense had me inside of. However, if I went into a really noisy place, that would actually adjust to speech and noise or spheric speech and loud noise. But I wouldn't know it unless I actually opened up this screen when I was in that situation. Now, once I'm in this adjustment screen, I can do a variety of different things, so bear with me here. At the very top, you can see that we have some different equalizer presets here. So default is what I have the hearing aid set at right now. If I wanted to adjust into a comfort setting, I can click on comfort. If I wanted to adjust into a clarity setting, I could click on clarity. If I wanted to adjust for speech, I would do that. And if I wanted to bring in more sound around me, I'd click on surrounding. Now, what this is actually doing is it's adjusting a 3-band equalizer inside of the hearing aids. You can see that equalizer here if you go into the top right-hand corner of this section with those 3 lines there. Once I'm in there, it will actually show you what that particular preset did to the 3-band equalizer. This is surrounding right here. You can see that it increased the low frequencies, left the mid frequencies alone, and increased the high frequencies. Now I can also go into here and adjust this further. And so what I typically do when I'm advising individuals to make their own equalizer adjustments is to adjust one of the low, mid, or high adjustment bands to the max and to the minimum and see what that actually does to your hearing. Then return it back to the mid-level and go on to the next equalizer. Once you start to identify, okay, this is what each one of these is making things sound like, then you can make a customization of what the equalizer settings are that you tend to prefer. And once you do that, you can see that it's making a custom option appear for you. Now, if you end up not liking that, of course, you can always go back to the default or just trust one of the different settings that you would get that are presets in there for you that will customize that for you based on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so let's just say that I preferred the clarity setting here. I would leave the clarity setting alone. Then I could scroll down a little bit further. I could adjust the volume of both of the hearing aids, either up or down for this particular program that I am now customizing. I'm gonna just turn it up one little notch there. From a noise reduction perspective, if you have steady state noise in your environment, you can actually drag the noise reduction to the high side, which means that you are bringing down more background noise. And if you adjust it to the low side, you're doing less noise reduction, which means you're allowing more noise to come into the hearing aids. Now, there is no rule for the amount of noise reduction that is ideal. You just adjust it to whatever sounds best for you that gives you the best auditory comfort and the best speech clarity. Speaking of speech clarity, one great way to get more clarity out of someone who's talking to you is to adjust the speech focus. Now, if you take this and you drag it to narrow, what that's doing is it's narrowing up the pickup range of your directional microphones on your hearing aid. So whoever you're facing, that is the person that you're going to hear. If you have people all around you, you're going to want to open up that speech focus to bring in speech from different directions. But if you're trying to isolate one person in a really noisy environment, you generally want to drag that to the narrow part of the app so you can isolate that one person that you want to hear better. Now, right below that particular setting, you have your dynamic adjustments. Your dynamic adjustment is essentially your compression. Do you want to give less amplification to loud sound, or do you want to give more amplification to soft sound without just increasing or decreasing the volume of everything? So let's say that you're talking to a soft talker, you would want to drag this towards increase soft. If you're in a noisy environment and you want to bring down that loud, noisy environment without bringing down the speech of the person that you're talking to, you would go to decrease loud. Now let's say that you're in, I don't know, a restaurant and you ended up making some adjustments here that you're like, you know what? This sounds really good. What you would want to do is you would want to actually save that as a new program, and then you can name that program whatever it is that you like. Right here you can see that it's going to preset name it as Calm Situation 1. I don't like that. I'm actually going to delete that, and I'm going to call that program Ocean's Prime, which is one of my favorite restaurants, by the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and save that, so the next time that I go back and see my hearing care professional, they can see exactly what program adjustments I made for Ocean's Prime Restaurant. That's because it pops up as a program option up here in this dropdown. You can see there right at the bottom it says Ocean's Prime. Now let's say that I went back to Ocean's Prime and they sat me in a different location inside of the restaurant and I wanted to customize that program a little bit more. I could just go in, make sure I'm selected on Ocean's Prime, click on Adjust. Now I'm back in here with all of the adjustments that I made the last time I was at this restaurant. And you know what? I have more people with me this time, so I need to actually slide my speech focus over to wide so I can pick up the voices of everyone else who's there with me at the table. Now once I've got that adjusted, I don't want to hit Save as New. I could hit Save as New and create an entirely different program for Ocean's Prime, but instead I'm going to go ahead and click on Update, which just updates that existing Ocean's Prime program that I made already. And there we go. I have updated that program with the new settings. Now let's say that I'm leaving Ocean's Prime and that program is specifically designed for Ocean's Prime. I do not want to use that program throughout the rest of my evening. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Automatic again. It takes me back to the automatic program, so it's making adjustments on the fly for me. All right, hopefully all that made sense because we're moving on. Below that, you can see that you have a volume adjustment. Now you can increase or decrease the volume of your hearing aids just by dragging that white dot up or dragging it down, and you can see the number indicators there as I'm making these adjustments. Now the rule of thumb here is that for every 1 step that you increase or 1 step that you decrease, it is a 2 decibel adjustment. What that means is that if you max out the volume on this volume adjustment, it's a +5, which means you're adding 10 decibels across the frequency range, which is technically a doubling in volume of your hearing aids. Now if you go the other direction to -5, that is -10 decibels, which technically means that you're cutting the volume in half. But for right now, we're going to return the hearing aids back to where they were set up by the hearing care professional, which is in the middle at 0. Now, instead of adjusting both of the hearing aids at the same time, you can actually split left versus right, and you can make independent adjustments for each one of your hearing aids. So let's say that you have something really noisy on your left-hand side and someone talking to you on your right-hand side. You can actually bring down the volume of the left hearing aid, increase the volume of the right hearing aid, and just leave it there while you're in that situation. But eventually what you'll want to do is return yourself back to 0, and then ultimately I do recommend that most people just keep the left and the right hearing aid combined so you stay symmetrical with the amount of amplification you're receiving. Just to the left of the split left and right hearing aid button, you can see that you have a mute button, and they've actually adjusted it to where it makes a lot more sense here. Now when you tap on it, it goes to unmute, and you can see a line go through the speaker, and when you tap it to unmute it, you can see that you have your speaker available again. Not to mention, when you are muted, you can see that the bar for increasing or decreasing the volume turns gray from a green color, and then when you unmute it, you can see that bar turns green again. And that is everything that you can do on the home page of this particular app. Let's go ahead and move through the rest of the menu items here. So under the health section here, you can actually sign up for the hearing aids to start tracking your wear time and your steps. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All we have to do is click on the sign up button. We're going to go ahead and skip that tour. I already have an account for this, so I'm just going to go ahead and log into my account, but you could create your own account through the Create Account button here. Okay, there we go. I went ahead and logged into the app here, and you can see that it has usage data toggled on and health data toggled on. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. So let's go ahead and walk through this menu as well. Here towards the top, you can see that we can set up our health profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Set up health. I'm going to indicate that I'm a male, and my date of birth and my height. I'm going to use feet. I am 6 foot 3 inches tall. I'm sure some people are surprised by that because you never really see me standing in reference to anything else. Then we can enter our weight. I'm going to do that in pounds. I am about 185 pounds. There we go. And I'm going to click on done. Okay, so now that it has my height and weight, it can actually give me an estimate for the amount of calories that I've burnt throughout the day while I've been wearing the hearing aids tracking all of my step data. But I can actually go in here and do several other things as well. I can actually see my wear time. I can see how many daily steps that I've had in addition to the amount of calories that I've burnt throughout the day. But I can also set up goals for each one of these things. So for the wear time, I'm going to actually go into the wear time option here. You can see here that I haven't really worn these hearing aids a whole lot today. I've been setting up for the review and all of that, but nevertheless, right now we're at 3 minutes of wear time because I just paired these hearing aids up with the app during this tutorial, and it will track this wear time throughout the course of the day. Now, if I scroll down here a little bit more, you can see that I have wear time for left and right hearing aids, and I can actually track how much time I've been in different listening environments and if I've been streaming through the hearing aids. Pretty cool to be able to see this data if you're a data nerd. But right below that, you can see that we can change the daily goal for the amount of wear time that you have with these hearing aids. I have it set up for 14 hours, but let's just say that we went back to the industry standard, which is 13 hours of wear time per day. I could set that goal, then it would actually tell me how close I am to hitting that goal. Okay, so now that I have my wear time goal set, I can actually go over to the daily steps option here. And again, this will show me how many steps I've achieved because again, there's motion sensors inside of the hearing aids that can track how many steps that you have throughout the day. And it would show that to you here. As I scroll down here, not only will it tell you the amount of steps, it will tell you the distance that you've gone and how much activity you've had in a variety of different places. So no activity, low activity, medium activity, and high strenuous activity. As you can see, I'm not doing very good today. And now my new goal is 20,000 steps per day. Let's continue on. We're gonna scroll down here just a little bit more here. We're gonna click on calories burned. And again, this will show me how many calories I've burned throughout the day and how many of those calories were burnt doing physical activity and how many of those calories were burnt by just sitting here doing nothing. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and go back to this previous page here. You can actually go and get some different health resources by clicking on visit this site. That will take you off of the app and it'll give you pointers and tips and things like that for actually improving your overall health. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to go into the devices tab here at the bottom. So inside the devices tab, you can see the hearing aids that I have here on the screen, and you can see my battery life percentages. Right below that, you can see all the different programs that I have inside of the app. Starting at the top, we have the automatic program, we have the spheric speech and loud noise program, and the speech in car program. All three of those were set up by the hearing care professional. These are programs that you cannot delete, and if you make any adjustments to these programs, it just saves it as a secondary program. It will never adjust these core programs. Now, right below that, if you can recall, I told you that there are a couple default programs that they have inside of the hearing aids. They have restaurant, music, TV, and then that custom program that I created called Ocean's Prime. Now, any one of these programs in the personalized adjustment section can actually be deleted. So let's go ahead and delete out the restaurant program because, again, I would primarily use the automatic or the spheric speech and loud noise program for that particular environment. All I have to do to delete this program is click on restaurant, click on delete program here at the bottom and delete, and you can see it is getting rid of that program, and there we go. That program is no longer available here. Now let's say that I want to go ahead and keep the music program default but change it to something else. I'm going to go into that program and I can hit this edit button and I could rename that program whatever I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and type music classical, and so now we can see that that program is now called music classical. It even happens to tell you the base program that each one of these programs was created from right there below each program name. This is really helpful information for your hearing care professional who may want to know what you've actually done to customize these programs because they want to know what sounds best to you. Now, once you've deleted or renamed these programs to your liking, you can then go to the back button and it takes you back to this devices screen. And I'm just going to scroll down here a little bit. We have your hearing aids. So this is product information. It will tell you what hearing aids you have paired up with the app. And if you want to delete the pairing, which you could, you would just hit that forget my devices button. Of course, we're not going to do that for right now. We're going to go ahead and hit the back button here. Scroll down again, and then we're going to go ahead and tap on Find My Hearing Aids. This is actually telling me here that the last recorded location of my hearing aids is with me because they are literally right here in front of me. If I would have left one of these at the office, it would tell me that one of my hearing aids is at the address of the office and the other one is here with me right now. You also get to see this on a map, so I'm just going to drag that out of the way, and you can see that my hearing aids inside of this map right here that is loading is right inside the studio with me sitting on my desk. Now you can technically turn off the hearing aid location here, but again, I think it's smart to keep it on just in case you happen to forget your hearing aid somewhere. You can zoom in on the map if you prefer, if you're trying to get a more precise location of exactly where they're at, but I can tell you right now that that is exactly inside of my studio location here. Okay, so now that we've found my hearing aids, thank goodness, we're gonna hit the back button. We're going to scroll down a little bit more, and we're going to get into the hearing aid settings. So we have our Bluetooth phone calls. Select connection. You can actually switch it. So this is for streaming purposes, okay? If you have a newer phone, you typically want to have the enhanced sound quality with adaptive bandwidth. If that's glitchy or not working very well, you can always switch it back over to normal sound quality with a fixed bandwidth. But again, for my really updated Samsung Galaxy S25 phone, I'm going to go ahead and click on enhanced sound quality for the adaptive bandwidth and hit the back button. That is something also that your hearing care professional can adjust in their computer software. Right below the Bluetooth phone calls, we have the streaming via Bluetooth. We have already set that up. If you didn't set that up, you can actually go and tap on those settings and it will take you to the screen where you can do the Bluetooth pairing for streaming like we already did earlier in this tutorial. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button here. I'm going to go into connection management. Connection management tells us whether or not we want to stay connected with the app even when you close out the app, or if you want to have to reconnect with the app every single time that you open it back up. Again, This takes more battery life to stay connected. If you're trying to preserve battery life, like if you have an older phone or if you like running the spheric speech and loud noise program all day, you would want to potentially turn this off. We're going to scroll down again and we're going to set up our tap control. Now, tap control can be set up by your hearing care professional in the professional software as well, but we can actually adjust this as someone who's using these hearing aids inside of the app. So if you want to be able to double tap your ear to answer or hang up on phone calls, we have to have that marked green. If you don't like that feature, you can turn that off entirely. I happen to like that feature, we're gonna leave it turned on. Then we can actually set up the hearing aids to do a variety of different things. We can have it when we double tap our ear, we can pause and resume streaming from our smart devices. If you want your double tap to activate Siri or Bixby, which is your AI assistant on your smart device, you could actually tap on Voice Assistant for whichever hearing aid you want this to activate with. Then you can double tap your ear. That will activate the Voice Assistant. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people don't like the fact that when you scratch your ear or take off your glasses that Siri all of a sudden pops up. So if you don't like that, don't have this activated, or you can turn off your tap control altogether if you just find that you don't like it. Now, assuming that you do like it, which a lot of people do, we're going to go ahead and have it for pause and resume streaming, and we can even adjust the sensitivity level. So if you want it to have to activate with a more firm double tap, you can do that. If you want it to be more normal double tap, of course, and then if you want it to be a very gentle double tap, you can take it over to gentle. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine at normal and hit close, and you can have the left and the right hearing aid do different things. For phone calls, it will always be the same for both left and right, but if you want to pause and resume streaming or activate Voice Assistant, you can have one ear do one thing and the other ear do the other thing. Okay, so we're all done with tap control here. We're going to go back. We have the auto on settings here. This is if you want the hearing aids to automatically shut off when you put them in the charger and automatically turn on when you pull them out of the charger. Most people like that. If you don't like that, you can toggle that off here. If we go back to the screen again, the last thing that we can look at and set up is the cleaning reminder. So if you are okay with getting notifications from the app, we have to go in and make sure that the phone is going to allow it. So let me go ahead and scroll down to the MyPhonak. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and toggle that on, saying it's okay for it to send me notifications through the phone. Now that we have that set up, I'm actually going to switch it to where I want it to remind me to clean my hearing aids every week, because that's typically what I recommend to my patients. I want them to be cleaning their hearing aids roughly once a week, and this is a reminder to remind them to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and click on 1 week. I'm going to hit select. Now I'm going to receive a notification every single time a week passes by to remind me to actually go in and clean my hearing aids. Now, the biggest issue with a lot of people's hearing aids are their wax filters getting plugged with wax, and so it actually has some instructions down here if you want to watch a video on how to change your wax filter on your Phonak hearing aids, which is kind of nice. Okay, so now that we have the cleaning reminders all set up, I'm going to go ahead and hit the back button, and we are all finished with the devices tab. I'm going to go over to the support tab. Now, the biggest thing that you need to know about the support tab is this is where you can get access to frequently asked questions and different how-to videos inside of here, but more importantly, is if we scroll down here a little bit, we can get access to remote support. If you had an appointment scheduled with your hearing care professional to do a remote session, right at the time that your appointment is, you would actually go into start a session here, start remote support. Again, you're allowing all of these permissions here while you're using the app, and we're going to allow. And what's happening here is that it's actually waiting for my hearing care professional to join in the session with me. Now, the microphone is not available because I'm using that for screen recording here, so just take my word for it. As soon as my hearing care professional were to jump on with me, I would see them, they would see me, and they would be able to tap directly into my hearing aids through my smart device. All right, so now we are back in the support tab section of the app. Again, you can look at your user guide here, you can contact technical support, and you can join their testing pool and give them app feedback. And the very last thing here is the profile section on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. This right here has my account information. So if I wanted to edit my details or create an account here, if I hadn't created it already, this is a section that you could actually do it from. Remember, you have to have an account set up if you want to be able to track your health data inside of the app. Now, there's one more thing that I want to show you inside of the app, and that is what happens when you start using wireless accessories like a Phonak Roger-On 3 or a partner microphone or even a TV connector. If we look at the drop down here on the menu, we can see that we do not have any of these accessories inside of the menu option here. But I already have these accessories paired up with my Phonak Audeo Sphere Infinio hearing aids. When I turn them on, and I'm turning on the Roger-On 3 here, what we're gonna see is the Roger Direct Plus Mic program pop up inside of the app. That is going to basically tell me that I am connected with my accessory, and now when I point it at the person I want to hear, it's going to stream it directly through to my hearing aids. But let's say that I clip this onto, I don't know, my wife Ashley's shirt so I can hear her better when I'm in a noisy environment, and then she goes to the bathroom and I don't want to hear what's going on inside of the bathroom. I could switch off of the Roger Direct Plus Mic program back into the automatic program. This is still turned on, it's just no longer streaming audio into my ears. Then when Ashley starts coming back to sit with me at my table, I can go into that drop down again, and you can see that the Roger Direct Plus Mic is available because the Roger on 3 is turned on. And if I want to start pulling audio from it again, I just tap on that and now I'm streaming audio again. The same thing is true with the TV connector as well as the partner mic. So I'm going to turn off the Roger on 3. I'm going to turn on the partner mic, and you can see that it kicked me out of the Roger on 3 program automatically here. And now that I've turned the partner mic on, you can see that it automatically switched on the partner mic plus mic, which means that I'm pulling audio from the partner mic as well as from the microphones on the hearing aids themselves. A cool little trick here is that if you feel like you're getting too much surrounding noise and not enough sound from a partner mic that you're using, you can tap on the mute button. What that does is that you're still getting audio coming in from the accessory. Your microphones on your hearing aids are not picking up all of the garbage sound around you. The same exact thing is true when you're streaming from the TV connector. If there's some other commotion going on inside of your house and you do not want to hear all that commotion, you can tap on the mute button, which mutes your hearing aid microphones, and you can stream the audio directly in from the TV into your hearing aids. One other thing that you may notice when you start streaming audio from another wireless accessory is that you have the option of adjusting the volume, which is the volume of the hearing aid microphones themselves, or you can actually go in and adjust your ambient balance. By adjusting your ambient balance, you can actually tell the hearing aids to bring more sound from the remote microphone that you're using, like the partner mic or the Roger on 3, or you can drag it to more surrounding, where you're actually giving more amplification from the hearing aids and less sound streaming from your wireless accessory. So if you do not want to just mute sound from the wireless accessory altogether, you can blend the mixing of how much sound you're getting from the hearing aids or from the wireless accessory. Now, one other thing I need to mention is what this app does for individuals with cross devices. So if you have a cross transmitter on one of your ears and a hearing aid on your opposite ear, you also have an option to adjust the cross balance, meaning you can get more sound coming over from your cross side, or you can get more sound coming into your hearing aid side and less sound coming over from your cross side. You would see an option to make that adjustment on this home screen here. You would essentially have an option for volume and an option for cross. And there you go. That is a pretty detailed tutorial of everything that you can do inside of the MyPhonak app. But as sure as I know that the sun will come up tomorrow, this app will have more updates coming up in the future, and as soon as they do, I'll create a new tutorial video for you. That being said, if you like this video, do me a huge favor, click the like button, and if you want to see more tutorial videos just like this one, make sure that you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, and I'll see you next time.